Good evening, everyone. I'm your evening
Good
host, Jaideep
evening.
at Edo. Yeah. So, before we dive in, let me give you a quick glimpse into Edo. Edo is a global network of students and young professionals, all passionate about inspiring youth to make a positive impact. We can we connect you with stabilized professionals and offers a platform to learn from their journeys. Now, on behalf of Team Maverick and Edo, we are thrilled to welcome you to this webinar on mastering the art of article writing. To make this session even more engaging, and now the moment we all have been waiting for, our esteemed guest speaker for tonight is Mr. Samuel. Mr. Samuel is a professional content writer, article writer, SEO writer, and a blog writer. Mr. Samuel, it's a true honor to have you with us today. We are all eager to
Thank
gain
you.
val- valuable insights from your expertise. Mr. Samuel, the
Thank
floor is yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Adora team, I really appreciate you. Thank you for this rare opportunity. Mr. Jihadip has well said it, and as he said it, and so it is. So, I'm a professional content writer. I'm an article writer, and I'm a blog post writer, and I write on different niches ranging from finance, businesses, academics, and a lot of things like that. So today, I'll be sharing just some tips about article writing, mastering the art of article writing. Maybe you are blank and probably you have a lot of ideas with you because I was once like that. There was a time I had a lot of ideas. I'll feel like, oh, there are a lot of things to write, but how do I start? There are a lot of ideas flowing in my mind. How do I start it? Well, this webinar is for you. And sincerely, I want to appreciate the adult team for this opportunity. Thank you so very much. Today, we want to look at mastering the art of article writing. Matt, I've been hearing a lot of things about article writing, and you might have say, okay, article writing is something I wish to do. Article writing is something I love to do so much. Well, it's very good because you can have it as a side hustle. Article writing can be a side of income. You can focus mainly on it also because there are people and also like I do who write and write for different clients and they get paid. There are different employment platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, and a lot of platforms like that. So without wasting much of our time, we'll be going into the introduction proper, the introduction of this webinar. So we look at the importance of article writing. How important is article writing to you? So you may find article writing, you know, something that is not okay, but after this webinar, I promise you, you will love to be an article writer. The objective of this webinar is to train us, whether you are a person who doesn't have any idea at all about article writing. This webinar is meant to train you. And also, maybe you have an idea and you want to also brush up on some of the things you have known. So this webinar is also meant for you. Yeah, thank you very much. So we'll be moving to the next thing now, which is our discussion agenda. So our discussion agenda, we'll be talking about understanding article writing. Well, you might have been hearing a lot of things about article writing. We explain to you what article writing is. A lot of people do get it mixed up. They'll be confusing article writing for blog post writing. There is difference between article writing and blog writing. There is difference between article writing and social media post writing. So they are two different things. So in this webinar, I'll be teaching out values on how you can well understand what is called article writing. Also, I'll be talking about research and planning. Well, this is one of the major parts of article writing, and this is one of the areas where most writers found it convincing. It is not that ideas aren't coming, and also some people have ideas are coming, but the issue they have is how to get more ideas. So I'll be talking about your research, how you can make research. I'll be talking about planning, how you can plan it, make it out, and everything will be okay. I will also talk about the third thing is writing engaging content. Well, how do you write content that captivates the attention of the audience? How do you get to write content that people will be like, wow, this is excellent, this is very beautiful? How do you get to write content that targets Google search engine so well? Because these days, I observe that people are no longer demanding for ordinary article writers or blog writers or content writer. They are looking for people who specializes more, who have better ideas about Google search engine. So they are looking for SEO writers. So and under SEO writing, we have article writing is also there. So most of these websites that we look at, they involve a lot of article writers. So we look at how you can write engaging content, then editing and refining. This is one of the major parts of article writing. You need to learn the art of editing. Editing is one of the issues that most writers do find not convenient, and how to refine their words, how to get relevant keywords into their discussions, how to get words that blows the minds of the people. So we also look at the conclusion. That's where we have time for the question and answer section. So it's going to be an interactive section. I want you to pay very close attention, and everything I'll be saying here, I want you to have like a note. So it could be from your phone, from your laptop, or your tablet, or even a biro and a paper. So make sure you are jotting something down, and do well to also write your questions. I'll be here to answer. We move to the next thing. Well, number one thing on point is understanding article writing. Well, under this understanding article writing, we'll be talking about three major things. We'll be talking about definition and types of article writing. There are different types of article writing. We're talking about purposes and benefits of article writing. How do you fund article writing? Well, what value does it add to the society? What value does article writing add to you as a person? How do you find it informative? We are going to be looking at that. Then we look at the key benefits of effective article writing. There is difference between article writing and effective article writing. So that's where we'll be looking about that. Without wasting much of our time, the number one thing on point is the definition and types of article writing. Well, article writing is a piece of information. Article writing is a piece of information, is an insight or analysis on a specific topic or issue. Take for instance now, maybe in the US, they are in the political time now. Article writing will tend to expatiate the needs where people need to vote. Article writing will expatiate some insights, some key benefits of doing things. So that's why I say it's a piece of informative and insightful write-up, something that's, an idea that you have in you, and you are like, well, how do I share these things to people? So that's article writing. Now, article writing should be composed of insightful ideas, just like I've said. So article writing should have a very good introduction. If you are writing an article, you should make sure it's having a very good introduction. Your article, you must provide it in a proper context. Then you must write your articles in a very developed idea. Make sure you are using a very concise language. Then your article must have a very good summary. So that's that about the meaning of article writing. Article is a piece of information, an insight, or an analysis on a specific topics. So there are different types of article writing. We have the informative article writing. We have the blog post persuasive. There is persuasive writing where you tend to convince people about, well, this is not the right way. You rather shoot this. This is better. That one is a typical example of a persuasive writing. So we have analytical writing. So that one you tend to make analysis. Well, the government of your country is wasting this kind of resources. The government of your country is using these resources well. You break down into a very good analysis and you make the analysis. So that's an analytical writing. We have informative writing. Informative writing where you you dish out values, you inform people, well, this is good, this is bad, so you can consider this, try this up. So that's informative writing. Then we have entertaining writing. Entertaining, so under entertaining article writing we have craft storytelling. So it's also part of article writing, craft storytelling. People do find article borings when there are no stories involved. Yes, people find the article boring when there are no stories involved. The article will be very boring when there are no instances and examples. So you have to be a very good writer, a very good storyteller. So, and which I'm going to expatiate on that as we continue. So there are different formats where you can portray your articles, where you can dish out your articles to people. There are online, so like we have the social media, different websites, or Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and a lot of sites like that. So the article can also be in a printed form. There are journals these days, and journals have been existing since time past. So, and it is still existing now. So, and inside journals, they are made up of different articles that are written by different authors, contributors across the world. So, articles can be dished out in a printout form. There are academic articles, so that you can submit to your school library, you can submit to secondary schools and a lot of things like that. So, there are social media articles like the ones we have on Facebook, LinkedIn, and a lot of platforms like that. Now we talk about point number 2, which is purposes and benefits. Purposes and benefits of article writing. Now, there is a common saying that we used to say, so that when the purpose of something is not known, abuse is inevitable. So, before you can say you want to start up something, or before you can say you want to start doing something, you really need to define what you say you want to do. So defining it well and having a clear understanding of whatever you want to do makes it meaningful. So people who progresses in life are people who understand the purposes of why they are starting up something. There are people who understand the reasons why something should be. So purposes of article writing. Article writing helps to share knowledge. Whether you have an idea, article writing helps you to share your knowledge, your insights, your wisdom. It makes people draw close to you and be like, wow, this person is knowledgeable. Imagine having a kind of knowledge and, not making people know about it. The idea will keep dying in you, it won't show, and things like that. But When you pick up something and you be like, wow, this is what I know what to do well. Let me start writing on it. Let me start doing something on it. Then people get to know you. So it helps you to share your knowledge. Article writing helps in sharing knowledge and expertise. Then it establishes authority. Article writing helps you to establish authority. People will be like, wow, this person is a boss. He's very good at this field. Then you command authority, you command leads. Article writing will make you command leads. Maybe you're having a website, you're having let's say a Facebook site, or you're having a product that you are marketing. So article writing will make you establish authority. It will give you credibility in your business. People tend to trust you more when you give evidence, when you come up with something, and maybe it could be a graphics you are showing to people that, well, this is what I do. It could be an idea that you are showing to people that, well, this is what I do. So article writing makes you establish authority and credibility. It promotes products. Yes, you use article writing to promote products. It educates and informs. Article writing helps you to educate people. You educate yourself as well. Sometimes when I writing stuff as a writer, I wonder, wow, is this what is in me? And I take time to read it all over again. Then that's where I get my creativity. Creativity is not just limited to sourcing something new. No, sometimes what you know, what you are doing, you just have to, look at it with another perspective. That's creativity. What you are doing, you look at it with another perspective. It is not every time you look for something new, something new, something new. Yes. So articles writing also helps you to engage and entertain. So it also gives support and a lot of benefits like that. So we move to the benefits of article writing. Yes, article writing gives you visibility. Article writing gives you visibility. Maybe you are a marketer, you are a product seller or anything. People won't know you when you don't write things up. That's not possible. So when you have a website, you try to put up something about it. If it's just a few story about what you do, how people can find your product insightful, a description of what you do, and different ideas like that. So it gives you visibility. People will tend to know you more. You can't post a graphics and just write something on it like that. Well, people will look at it and say, good, this is a very good idea, but you have to put it up in a very detailed form. So article writing makes you to gain visibility in a very detailed form. Then it drives website traffic. Article writing will give you website traffic. Then it will give your site or whatever you do search ranking. Yes, in Google search engine, you will be ranked. When you go online and search for different things, you will see how the Google algorithm will pop up a lot of articles written by different authors. So those articles are not just there for being their sake. They are there and they are ranking on websites and they are earning from Google. And the more people click on it to get more ideas, the more they are earning. So we move to the elements of effective articles. When you want to write an effective articles, there are elements that you need to look at. Number one is clear purpose. Make sure your article is having a very clear purpose. So another thing is strong introduction. Yes, introduction is one of the main parts of article writing. You have to have a very clear introduction of whatever you want to do. Introduction captures the attention of people most, especially when you are writing an article. Your first 2 lines or your first 3 lines of your write-ups is very, very important. When people read the first 2 or 3 lines and you are not making sense with it, they just move away. So introduction is you have to have a very good introduction. Then well structured content. Introduction aren't good as having a very good point. introduction aren't good as having, a developed point, key points. Make sure that your things are very, very up to date. So you have to have a well structured content. Then valuable information. Valuable information is one of the key elements of article writing. So how valuable is what you are telling the people? Then you need to check it up, look at it, have a clear understanding. So we move to the key benefits of effective articles. Key benefits of effective articles. When we talk about articles, I told you the other time that there is difference between articles and effective articles. There are two different things. So effective articles generate you more money. Take for instance now, you might have been writing an article where probably you are making like $10, or article where you are making $20. But when you grow to an extent where you make it an effective article, then you are having articles of like, and you are writing and earning something like $50, $100, and lots more like that. So to have a very effective articles, you need to have a concise language. What are you talking about? If it is that you are writing about businesses or finance, don't go and cite examples from agriculture. They are two different things. So you need to have a concise language, well researched, and error-free write-ups. Make sure your write-ups are very up to date. There are some people that do use research tools and research resources that are outdated. It is not good for you as a writer to use an outdated research tool or research resources. So make sure everything is up to date. Then be mobile friendly. Then be friendly with people. To write an effective article, you need to be very, very friendly with people. Make sure that you are using languages that people are familiar with. Then you have to have an editable content. Make sure that your contents are not rigid, because they are rigid content. So what are the benefits that these things will do to you? Generates you more sales, just like I've said the other time, that you tend to make more money. So then you gain more visibility as well. People will get to know you more. People will know you better, and things like that. So we move to the next thing, research and planning. Research and planning. So in this section, we'll be talking about how to choose a topic. How do you choose an article topic? Yes, it's very, very choose an article topic. We're talking about conducting research and gathering information. How do you gather information after you have choose your topic? Then how do you gather informations? How do you gather ideas? How do you develop them? Then also we're talking about creating an outline and structuring your article. So how do you create an outline? Can you just form a template? Yes. How can you just sit down on your own and have a template or an outline? So number one, we're talking about how to choose topic. Yes, article writing has to do with topics. You have to be specific. If you are not specific in your writing, then you are going to mix it up when time passes. Yes, when you have a very good introduction and you are not having a specific topic to write about, the body will be somehow. So how do you choose a topic? Number one, you need to identify your audience. Who are the people you are talking about? Maybe in identifying audience, you make use of different demographic means, like the age, the location. Take for instance now, if you are talking to UK clients, if you are talking to US clients, they are using pure English language, but in Nigeria here we are using British English. The languages are very different. So I, as an article writer, if I'm going to write works and deliver it to a US or a UK client, I'm going to make it in form of their own language. So in that way, I'm getting to understand or identify my audience. If you are writing to kids, you know the kind of language you are going to be using. You are going to be using the simplest language. Same also when you are writing to adults also, you don't have to use a complicated language. Yes, that's what I do say. You don't have to use a language where people will be checking the dictionary every time, checking it. What's this person saying? What's this person saying? So you need to identify your audience. That's number one thing in choosing a topic. Identify your audience. Number two, brainstorm ideas. After you have identified your audience, don't just sit down and start writing something. Don't just sit down and just writing things anyhow. Think on it yourself, ruminate on it, meditate on it. Okay, brainstorm on ideas. What can people say about these things? Is this thing a problem? How is it a problem to people? How can I help them solve their problems? Those are the ideas you brainstorm. You know, if someone is coming to search for my work, what will that person even say he or she is looking for? Take for instance now, maybe you are writing on agriculture and specifically you are writing on tomatoes, you know, and you can be like, okay, let me meditate on it. Well, people can come up and just say, what acid is present in tomatoes that made it to function this way? What acid is present in this that made it to do this kind of work? Okay, does tomato even have an side effect? So those are some of the questions you brainstorm yourself. You need to brainstorm on ideas, brainstorm your ideas, question yourself. Then another thing is research popular topics. Don't just say you want to start something new, because if you are saying you are starting something new as someone who is not yet grown up to that stage, because if you are a renowned writer and you're having like maybe probably on a Facebook page you're having people like 50,000 followers, you're having 1 million followers, well, you can start something new. But if you are a beginner, then I won't counsel you to rush and go and start something new like that. You need to also niche down on popular topics. Look for popular topics, then with your own creativity do something new with it. Then another thing is to consider evergreen topics. Consider evergreen topics as to make it very, very more meaningful as a writer. Consider evergreen topics. Topics that you know that in the next 10 years, people are still coming for it. Topics that you know that in the next 15 years, people are still coming for it. Those ones are evergreen topics. Then another thing is be focused. Be focused. As a writer, just like I've cited an example the other time, if you are writing on businesses or finance, don't just go and just boggle on agriculture. Don't just boggle on agriculture and just cite agriculture as an example. So you need to be specific. Be specific. So we move to point number 2, conducting research and gathering information. Point number 2, conducting research and gathering information. Well, after you have developed your topic, after you have, brainstorm yourself, after you have made your research on popular topics, after you have considered your evergreen topics, then how do you, develop it with your own creativity? Number 1, you need to define your topic and scope. Well, how broad is this thing? If this your topic is going to be a very broad form, then you should know that you are writing it in a series. You are going to make it series 1, series 2, series 3, series 4, and like that. So you need to know your scope, then define your topic. You yourself, you have to understand what you are talking about, understand what you are saying. Another thing is identify credible sources. Identify credible sources. I tell you some sources where people obtain information are not credible. Yes, imagine saying that someone died many, many years ago, and it is even not true. Your when your reader comes to that kind of realization, and when they look at it, they may be like, wow, this person is talking nonsense. So you need to make sure that you are gathering your information from credible sources. If you are writing on a very popular topic in your country, make sure you are making it something meaningful. Make sure you are consulting a very credible source. So we move to the next one and the next one on point is writing engaging content. How do you get to engage people? Writing engaging content. How do you get to engage people? How do you captivate attentions of people? Even though your article is a lot of much, even though your article is going to be a kind of 3,000 words, even though your article is going to be 5,000 words, how do you write it and people will get to read it to the end? Number one thing is we'll be looking at is attention. How do you captivate people's attention? Writing techniques for engaging readers. I'll be talking about that soonest. Another one is innovation. Then that is crafting and compelling headlines and introduction. Then we move to the creativity. So creativity, then how do you present it? How do you make it effective? How do you arrange them in different paragraphs? So number one thing is crafting a compelling headline. Crafting a compelling headline and introduction. I'm talking about attention this time around. Number one, to make your headline be specific and clear. Be very, very clear. What are you going to talk about? Yes, let people know about it from the start. Keep it concise. Keep it within what you are talking about. Then another thing is use action verbs. Action verbs captivate attentions more faster than any other kind of words. If you are using a noun to start your introduction, I won't advise you to keep using it. It won't bring you more income and it won't captivate the attention of people. You need to make use of action verbs. Action verbs like make. Action verbs like do. People will be like, okay, if I say, okay, making a startup in business can be a more challenging way. You know, people will be like, well, this person is really talking sense. So, but when I come up with something like the system of starting a business, you know, there are two different things. So the system is a bit dull. But when I said making, that one is a bit sharp. You'll be like, wow, okay, let me read this till finish. So you need to make use of action verbs. Use action verbs. Then make use of vivid language. Make your language very, very clear. Don't use bogus language. So don't use languages that people will be checking often and often in the dictionary. So then we move to introduction. That is starting with hook. Then start with surprising facts. Yes, start with different facts. If you are writing on something that stirs a lot of concerns, people, something that is very, very popular, come up with a fact. Then another thing is come up with a quote. You can come up with a very popular quote from a renowned person, a renowned scholar, a professor or anything. Come up with a quote. Then you can also come up with questions. Do you know you can do this? Do you know you can do that? Do you know doing this is very wrong? Those ones captures the attentions of people more faster. So in that way, you are making a very good, effective introduction. Then define your purpose and scope, just like I've said the other time. So we move to the next thing, which is innovation. Then writing innovation. So crafting a compelling headlines. Oh, sorry, I've discussed that. We move to creativity rather. So creativity, which is the third point. Writing effective paragraph and using transitions. Well, paragraphs, when you are writing an article, you don't have to make an paragraph too lengthy, because if paragraph is too lengthy, people will just be like, what's this person saying? Your formal paragraph should be short. Then the second paragraph, you can make that one a bit longer. The third paragraph, you can make that one a bit short. Then you mix it up like that, like that, like that. So in that way, you engage your reader to the end. So number one thing is focus on main ideas. Focus on main ideas. Your idea should come first when you are opening a paragraph. What are you going to talk about in that paragraph? Make it the first sentence. Then put a full stop before you develop it. So focus on main ideas. Use logical connections. Use logical connection between sentences. Well, this is your number one sentence. This is your number two sentence. Then make sure that you are connecting it in a very good grammatical form. Don't make grammatical blunders. Then provide supporting details and examples. Provide examples. So like I said the other time, people will find it boring when you don't tell stories. People will find it boring when there are no examples. So provide them with examples. Then another thing is use words and phrase to connect. Use words and phrase to connect. So we move to the next thing, which is transition words. Transition words, that is still under creativity. Transition words. Make use of transition words like however. Those ones, is when you are using that kind of sentence, it makes your reader feel like they are going to get more information. It makes your reader feel like, well, it's going to talk about something contrary to what it's going to discuss. So in that way, you are engaging them to read more. So make use of transition words. Transition words like however, therefore. So those ones are transition words. Make use of transition phrase. Transition phrases like in addition. Transition phrases like furthermore. So those ones are transition phrases. Then connect ideas, contrast or show. Then connect your ideas together or show them evidence. Show them instances. Shows them positivity in it. Shows them negativity in it. Bring up instances from past histories and happenings. So in that case, you get to engage them better. Then we move to our number 4 agenda. Number four, which is editing and refining. Editing and refining. So in this session, I'll be talking about importance of editing and very good ideas like that. So editing is very, very important. And in this section, I'm going to talk about the difference between editing and proofreading. Both of it are very different thing entirely. Then I'll talk about tips for editing and revising. How do you get to, make a very good editing work? How do you get to, revise your work? Then I'll talk about how to get feedback and revise accordingly. So how do you get feedbacks from people? Writing or doing any business whatsoever, feedback is very, very important. Knowing what people are saying about your product, knowing what people are saying about what you are writing, yes, is very, very important. That one will give you the insight and the knowledge of, well, what am I to do next? So having that in mind, then we move to the number 1 thing, importance of editing and proofreading. Number 1, it clarifies meanings and structure. Editing clarifies meanings and structure. What are you talking about? Editing will give it a proper meaning. Maybe take for instance now, you are using an ambiguous words. An ambiguous words, a word that has different meanings in the dictionary. When you get to sit down on your work, you come back on it and you edit it. That is when you get to know about it and you'll be like, well, to properly discuss or describe what I'm talking about here, I need to come up with a very different language. a very different word entirely. So editing will gives you that. Then it enhances your tone and strengthens arguments. Editing will enhance your tones. It made people to know that you are talking in an angry way. You know, when you were writing it, you can be writing it and a bit angry, or a bit argumentative, or a bit descriptive. But when you get to edit them and you remove some words and you slot in different words, different grammatical expression, phrases and sentences that best explain what you are talking about, then in that case you are making you are enhancing your tone and you are strengthening your topic and your discussion. Then editing will make you improve your flow. Editing will make you improve flow. It will help you to best communicate your ideas. Then proofreading. Proofreading caches error. So I said the other time I'm going to tell you the difference between editing and proofreading. Now, this is the difference. Proofreading caches error. Number one. Now, when you are talking about errors, I'm talking about grammatical errors. Your errors in punctuation, your errors in your typographical errors, your grammatical errors and things like that. Editing does that. When you are putting your full stop in an improper place, editing will gives you, we open that one, or proofreading rather, we open that one up. So, but editing is about coming up with something different that better communicates your idea, coming up with a very concise word. Yes, that is something about editing. Editing is coming up with something, a very concise word. Like, take for instance, now you are using a language that is a bit dull, but that deep down in your heart, you want to talk it in a very concise way. You want to speak out the ideas. You want to communicate the ideas in a very detailed form. So editing will make you to, remove some words and slot in some words. While proofreading will make you to remove punctuation. When you are using your apostrophe mark in an improper place, so proofreading helps to identify that. Then proofreading makes you to ensure accuracy and readability. Proofreading does that. It ensures accuracy. People will look at it and be like, wow, this is a very good writer. So proofreading helps you to ensure good accuracy. It enhances credibility in time. So I make sure I take time, because this is how I got to do it. Now, anytime I write my piece of content or whatever I want to write, or my article, I'll take time, I'll leave it for a while. I can leave it for a period of like 3 hours, an hour or two. So I'll do something separately that is different from writing. Then by the time I come back to what I've wrote, I'm going to get a very fresh understanding. That's the key to editing. Don't write and start editing it immediately. It is very wrong. So, number one, take a break before reviewing your work. Those ones are the best practices in editing. Take a break. Use tools and manual reviews. You can copy all your content and paste it in ChatGPT. Tell it to edit it for you. Yes, it's a very good idea. Getting feedbacks from others. You need to get a coach for yourself or a mentor. Someone who will look at it and say, well, this one, remove this, do that, do this, and a lot of things like that. Then check everything that you write. Check it properly. Check it properly. So we move to the number 2 point, tips for self-editing and revising. What are those tips for self-editing? Maybe you don't want to consult an editor. So in this session, I will talk about how you can edit on your own, how you can proofread on your own, how you can revise on your own. Now, let's take it bit by bit. Self-editing. So take a change environment. Number one, change environment. Change environment. Change that place where you wrote it, where you wrote your piece of document or your article. Change it. Number two, read aloud. Yes, these tips have been helping me a lot. When you are writing, you close your mouth and you write. You write with your hand, and your mind and your brain are running and they are working very good. That's how to write. But when it comes to the matter of editing, you read it loud. Read it loud. Then another thing, put yourself in the position of the audience. This has been a very good tip that has been helping me. If I were the audience, what will I say about this thing? What will my audience say about this thing? If I'm the reader, what will I say myself? Then use a style guide for consistency. To be a very good editor, use a style guide. Make sure you, as a writer and also an editor, make sure that you do it consistently. Then check for clarity and concession. Check it for clarity where you made your research. Don't just make research from a single place. Make sure you are making your research from multiple places. Yes, it will help you a lot. Sort out the differences, sort out the similarities. Then I believe in that way you can get to do your self editing yourself. You read it loud. Make sure you read it loud. Change your environment. Then use a style guide for consistently. So make sure you are writing often and often. Check for clarity and concession. Make sure that everything you are writing is very, very clear. So I said it the other time, don't just make research from a single place. Make it from multiple places. So revising. Consider structures, organs, and flows. How do you revise? Consider the structure. Consider your structure. When I was writing this kind of piece of article, what was in my mind? Am I argumentative? Am I descriptive? Oh, well, I decided to write it in a very descriptive form. Look at it. Have you not deviated from what you process on your mind? Have you not left what you were about to talk about? So that is revising. Make sure that you get feedback for others and, be open for criticism. Yes, as a writer or as somebody who is, writing for websites, especially if you are writing and you are posting on Facebook, especially social media handles also. Maybe you are writing and posting on Twitter, LinkedIn, and a lot of things like that. Check through the comment section. What are people saying about it? Be open for criticism. Don't fight your prospects. Don't fight people criticize you. No, it is wrong for you to do that as a writer. So make sure you answer them in a very respectful way. In a very, very respectful way. Talk to people in a respectful way. So be open for criticism. Then cut unnecessary words. That is another thing, way of revising. If something is not necessary, if something is not concise, if something is going haywire, it's not going to fit in well, then cut it away. Don't just say you want your article to be lengthy. Yes, you can be writing lengthy stuff and your reader will be like, well, this is nonsense. So make sure that you are concise. So be concise, cut unnecessary words. Don't just write something for writing's sake. Then another thing, revise in passes and focus on one aspect at a time. Focus on one aspect at a time. If you are writing on business, make sure it is business you are writing on. Use keywords based on businesses. If you are writing on business and you want to talk about money used to start a business, don't say starting up money or starting up cash. That one is, people will read it and be like, what's this person talking about? Gather relevant keywords like capital. In economics time or finance time or business time, capital is considered as the money used to start a business. So revise in passes. Focus on one aspect at a time. Use your keywords. Gather relevant keywords. Before you start any write-up, make sure that you gather keywords that are relevant to whatever you want to talk about. It's very, very important. Gather keywords that are relevant to what we want to talk about. Check through encyclopedias. Check through dictionaries. Use different AI tools. Use ChatGPT. Tell ChatGPT that, okay, I'm writing on this so topic, I'm going to describe this, give me relevant keywords on it. And I think doing that will also go a very good way for you. Then number 3 point, how to get feedback and revise accordingly. Yes, I said that you should make self-editing and revision. So how do you get feedback? How do you get feedback? Number one, be open-minded, be willing to accept whatever people say. When people criticize you, work on it. If it is something relevant to you, then change it. If you know that you are guilty of these things, stop doing it. So number two, give and receive feedback. You yourself be respectful. When people come to your comment section on Facebook or whatever platform you are posting, make sure that you are active to reply them. Be active to reply them. Don't just be like someone who will just post, check through comment section and be viewing it and thinking behind your phone. No, don't do that. So make sure that you are giving feedback. It will boost your sales the more. It will boost your ranking. People will tend to respect you the more. Then evaluate and patronize suggestion. Look at what people are saying. Look at what people are saying. Are they suggesting ways of improvement? Are they suggesting something that that will help you boost the more? Then evaluate people's suggestion. Then make targeted versions of whatever you are writing. Then get feedback from multiple sources. Get it from your peers, from your mentors, from different writing groups, from different platforms and things like that. So I believe we are done with that. Then we move to the conclusion. So this is where I'll be opening the session for your questions. If you have any question, so be preparing it now.
Hello.
By and large, we have been able.
Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Samuel. I request the
Okay.
participants to submit their doubts and questions in the chat box, and Mr. Samuel will answer them accordingly.
Okay, well, this person is saying, what are some techniques to keep readers interested throughout the article? Well, there are different techniques that you can use to keep your readers interested throughout your article. It starts from your introduction. Introduction is very, very important. Just like I've said the other time, your introduction is very, very important. Your first 2 to 3 lines of whatever you are going to write. So make it more interesting. I told you you have to use action verbs. You can use action verbs like commanding words, make. You can use words like do. Yes, those ones are action verb. People, when you say make, people will be like, oh, what are they making? What are we going to do? So make use of action verbs. Then you can come up with quotes, different quotes. Your quote may be disproving something. Your quote may be an ancient quote from a very good philosopher or a very good scholar.
Once again, thank you everyone for joining. The webinar is now complete and you may now leave the meeting.